Between Paula Deen's scandals and its lackluster representation of any culture outside the Midwest and perhaps Italy, the Food Network has seen its share of criticism. However, there's so much more going on behind the scenes than you might think. This segment from Sandra Lee's cooking show Semi-Homemade Cooking really takes the cake when it comes to poor taste. Lee is known for her trademark culinary philosophy that combines fresh ingredients with store-bought items. Anything but festive, her infamous Kwanzaa cake is made from a disturbing combination of store-bought cake, frosting, canned pie filling, and corn nuts. Not only does the cake sound unappetizing, but the recipe is also made up. To make matters worse, the host is definitely unfamiliar with real Kwanzaa traditions. Salon reported food stylist and recipe writer Denise Vivaldo disavowed the cake. Vivaldo claimed to have been pressured to produce the recipe for Lee's show out of financial need. Unsurprisingly, the segment received widespread criticism. AV Club aptly described it as a pile of ridiculousness slathered in despair and sprinkled with nonsense nuggets. In this case, Lee's offensive cake has no cultural relevance and doesn't seem like a recipe that would be welcome at any holiday table. The Food Network is known to capitalize on a good thing. Some might argue there's a bit too much of a good thing when it comes to Guy Fieri. Making his first appearance as a Food Network host on Guy's Big Bite in 2006, Fieri's best known for hosting diners, drive-ins, and dives. In addition to day-long Triple D marathons, Fieri's overexposure extends to at least 6 other Food Network shows. Along with diners, drive-ins, and dives, and Guy's Big Bite, the mayor of Flavortown can be found on Guy's Grocery Games, Rachel vs. Guy Celebrity Cook-Off, Rachel vs. Guy Kids Cook-Off, and Food Network Star. Despite Food Network's abundance of Guy Fieri, the channel kept quiet when a former producer alleged that Fieri made homophobic comments about a restaurant owner. According to the New York Post, former Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives producer David Page had a falling out with Fieri and was fired. Page sued Food Network for breach of contract, but the network countersued and said Page mistreated the staff in emails. The two settled out of court, and Fieri's show survived to see another diner with a new producer. One complaint about the Food Network's programming is that over the years, it's shifted its focus to pop culture and guilty pleasure recipes. The network has always featured personalities, but culinary tastes went beyond the diner in the earliest days. In the Food Network's infancy, trained chefs such as Sarah Moulton taught viewers the difference between leafy greens like kale and chard. In the early 2000s, the network realized most people watched for entertainment rather than instruction. Shows pivoted to showing fewer chefs, bigger personalities, and more desserts. Food Network executives even pulled the plug on one of its first stars when it canceled Emeril Live. Hosted by Chef Emeril Lagasse, the show debuted in 1997 with a live band, studio audience, and Emeril's catchphrase, BAM!
Just a little bam, bam! Bam, bam!
Among Emeril's many guests were the late Queen of Soul Aretha Franklin and cooking icon Julia Child. The formerly chef-driven channel is now packed with comfort food shows and competition heavyweights. The Food Network might be criticized for making competitions instead of chefs the main focus on TV, but the shift eventually worked in terms of ratings. As recently as 2020, the network has been criticized for its lack of diversity. Some note that women are more often eliminated in competition shows like Chopped. Wired found on-camera talent to be vastly white, with few people of color hosting on the network's cooking app. However, Food Network has since updated the app to showcase more diverse talent. Regular network programming also remains mostly white. Until 2017, Food Network featured relatively few people of color. Some of the first to break through were Ming Tsai, Sonny Anderson, the Neelys, Aaron McCargo Jr., Artie Sequeira, and Marcella Valladolid. By 2019, the network further expanded its diversity with Delicious Miss Brown's Cartier Brown and Girl Meets Farm's Molly Yeh. Not featuring a variety of cultures is definitely a missed opportunity. On-screen diversity will hopefully continue on all of Food Network's platforms. Overall, cooking shows on Food Network are very Eurocentric. Shows featuring Western European cooking, such as the Italian cuisine of fan favorite Giada De Laurentiis, make up a disproportionately large portion of the network's programming. Not only are there few shows featuring people of color, the hosts often aren't professional chefs. Food Network tends to limit shows featuring people of color to natural or soul food cooking, focusing on comfort rather than technique. The book, African Americans on Television, explains this setup isn't necessarily an issue until we examine the history of people of color, especially Black people, as domestic labor. It's problematic to have people of color perceived only as approachable home cooks instead of culinary experts like other chefs on the network. Then consider the fact that these soul food shows present chefs of color cooking for a largely white, middle-class audience, and the situation gets even murkier. Food website Eaters speculated that the Food Network's 2010 push to appeal to more young male viewers might have been the wrong move. The culinary-focused outlet reported that including more reality TV and primetime programming resulted in a glut of copycat shows. The network ultimately canceled the show Chefs vs. City, a food-based Amazing Race clone, after just 2 seasons. The unintended consequence of programming changes might have added to a perfect storm when combined with lackluster new shows. As reported by Huffington Post, the programming shift led to the network's key demographics, women ages 18 to 49 and 25 to 54, switching to other channels. Viewers moved to other networks where reality and cooking shows such as Cake Boss and Top Chef reigned supreme. It should also be pointed out how the network's then parent company, Scripps Networks Interactive, launched the cooking channel the same year it acquired Travel Channel. The added internal network competition may have further damaged Food Network's ratings at the time. Chef Robert Irvine rose to fame on Food Network thanks to his no-nonsense persona as host of Dinner Impossible. In 2008, Irvine gained exposure of a different kind when questions about his culinary credentials arose in the media. Among the fabrications in Irvine's CV, revealed by the BBC, were a knighthood, ownership of a Scottish castle, a friendship with Prince Charles, and claims the chef had cooked for 4 United States presidents. The Food Network dismissed Irvine from Dinner Impossible and replaced him with Michael Symon. Audiences didn't connect with Symon, and somehow Irvine got his job back. While Food Network brass may not have cared much about credentials, the show's writers and producers weren't so forgiving. Irvine's new missions on Dinner Impossible set him up for failure. Reportedly, Irvine would show up on set to find inadequate materials available to complete the show's challenges. Sometimes lying to your coworkers really doesn't work out so well.
Oh man, you're like making my life a misery today.
Turns out the Food Network has a history of bad fact-checking. Joshua Adam Garcia, aka Chef Jag, became a fan and judge's favorite on Food Network star thanks to his unlikely background story. Jag claimed to have graduated from the New York Restaurant School and joined the Marines, where he served in a war zone. There, he reached the rank of corporal. His resume turned out to be so unlikely because it was fake. The show revealed the betrayal on network television and shocked the audience when the finalist was asked to step down before the final vote. The real background of the disgraced chef is much less decorated. Jag never graduated from the New York Restaurant School and never served in a war zone or rose to the rank of corporal. In reality, he'd been demoted due to a Marine's hazing scandal, and his military career was cut short. Food Network forced Jag to withdraw from the competition show, but his memory lives on as an iconic moment of television. Southern cooking personality Paula Deen is no stranger to controversy. What's a bit more unusual is for scandal to strike her son, Bobby Deen. That changed when Paula's team posted a photo of mother and son dressed as Lucy and Ricky from I Love Lucy, complete with Bobby sporting offensive brown face makeup. Obviously, it wasn't a good look, and a backlash quickly ensued. To make matters worse, only 2 years earlier, Paula had apologized for racial slurs in a 2013 lawsuit brought on by a former employee. The photo was eventually deleted, and Paula Deen announced the social media representative responsible was fired for the incident. That still doesn't explain how anyone thought the brown face makeup was a good idea in the first place. And while not necessarily offensive, it's also a bit weird for a mother and son to dress up as a married couple. Regardless of the social media criticism, the incident didn't harm Bobby's standing with the Food Network. Today, Bobby's show Not My Mama's Meals airs on the Food Network's sister network, The Cooking Channel. Bobby Deen has also hosted several seasons of the Food Network's Holiday Baking Championship and Spring Baking Championship. In the early days of the Food Network, UK transplant Jamie Oliver hosted the fully clothed culinary show The Naked Chef. With his relaxed and laid-back approach to food, Oliver became a household name. His popularity eventually led to his own line of cooking products. However, one Jamie Oliver item went over the line: Oliver released a product called Punchy Jerk Rice, supposedly flavored and inspired by traditional Jamaican cooking. You might be asking, what's jerk rice? Good question. There's no such thing, and that made Jamaican chefs understandably angry. A jerk is a spice rub made of allspice and Scotch bonnet peppers. Traditionally, the rub is used for chicken or pork that is then barbecued. Jamaican-born Levi Roots, a chef who actually taught Oliver how to cook jerk style, called him out for the appropriation of Jamaican culture, adding that it, quote, needs to stop. Aside from the recipe itself, the real outrage about the rice centered around the tendency to borrow from other ethnic groups without regard for knowledge of the culture. As a culinary figure, Oliver should have known better. He attempted to brush off the criticism, saying he only meant to acknowledge the flavor's inspiration. Oliver might think twice before borrowing cultural traditions for his next sales pitch. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about Food Network are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.